Welcome back, everybody. My name is Rick, and these are the Dreadful Minutes. So, this is going to be a metal tag video, as the title implies. So, it's going to be 20 questions. So, I'm going to go through all this chronologically. Just a quick introduction, in case you didn't know. So, Scott, at the Rock Scout channel, I'll leave a link, and he introduced this challenge on January 1st of 2022. Although I believe there was another challenge done last year with a different set of questions. I didn't participate in that one. So this will be new for me for this year. If you guys follow the Metal VC community, you're probably well aware of this. So I'm kind of late in the game. I feel like everybody and their mother's dog has participated in this already. So, it's still January, at least by the time I'm recording this. So you all should be able to see response to this soon enough, I guess. But it was fun watching everybody else's answers to these 20 questions. And it's kind of grueling, actually. Though it may look simple watching this video ahead of time, but thinking of answers to these questions, it's a bit challenging. Some were easy, and some required quite a bit of thought, to be honest. So anyway, these are my answers. I'm going to go through them chronologically and in the old dreadful way that you're all familiar with. So let's begin. Okay, question number 1. Your favorite reissue of 2021? There was quite a few, so it was really hard to narrow it down. But if I had to pick one, I went with Necrodeath, Blackest Pitch. So for those of you who don't know, Black and Death thrash band from Italy. They've been around. They're one of the Godfathers. They've been around since '84. Probably one of the first coming out of Italy, doing this kind of style. So they pretty much took a long hiatus. They pretty much disappeared throughout the whole 90s. They came back in 2000 with Mater of All Evil. Excellent record. Very strong. I imagine it was very hard to follow up and up the ante. But they did. With Blackest Pitch. So if you like the ripping brutality of those Teutonic bands on the thrash side, but then you like the viciousness of bands like Possessed, this is totally up your alley. So this was put out by I Hate Records, and although there's not been many repressings of this, so since 2000 on CD, I think 2018, I think there was a pressing on CD again, but as of 2021, this is the first time it's seen on vinyl. So that's pretty cool, and definitely a format worth picking this up on. So definitely check them out. Necrodeath, if you haven't, can't go wrong with this one. Question number 2. A band you discovered, old or new, in 2021. I kind of went with old, and this is a band that was completely under my radar and kind of makes you wonder where you've been all my life. So this is a band from Chicago, Illinois, called Slaughter Extroius, with their 1985 album Winter Kill. And wow. This is I know they did another full length in the late 90s, which I still have yet to pick out and really explore, but hell, can't go wrong with this one. So I know this has been quite a gem and really hard to find for a long time, and it was going for really stupid money. But I'm glad this was reissued by Cult Metal Classics. And so I thought this would be something like the High Roller would put out, but in this case it wasn't. So yeah, here are the band members, John Stewart and Dave Banau, who both have unfortunately passed away. But excellent band. They also put it out in this nice red, which I think complements this rather crude artwork pretty well. So why are they special? It's like, I don't know, it's got a little bit of that sort of progressiveness of Fate's Warning, but still kind of the slashing heavy metal edge that you get bands from like Merciful Fate. So it's a nice marriage. This must have been mind-blowing when it came out, but yet, I don't know why I didn't get the exposure, to kind of put them on the next level. Maybe because they had that hiatus. Maybe that was part of the reason. For whatever reason that they took that long break is why, they were held back and not really mentioned under the same breath of some of those other bands. But I think these guys were just as talented, and all the tracks here are just killer. So really cool reissue. So if you find this out in the wild somewhere or wherever, definitely get it, because I have a feeling this is going to get scarce again. So, on this high roller, somebody picks it up. Question number 3. Show an album with an outstanding vocal performance. So there's this band out of Germany who do some pretty good doom called The Wheel. This is their Icarus album. And I enjoyed the material quite a bit, but I've never quite returned to them as much as I thought I would over time. There's just many other bands who play in this style that I've enjoyed just a little more, like Solitude Eternus, Altars of Oblivion, but this falls kind of in that vein. So they took a bit of a hiatus. I actually thought this band was done. I haven't heard from them in years. And lo and behold, they come out with Preserved in Time in 2021. And wow, right away, you notice a huge improvement in the vocal performance. I actually thought it was a new vocalist until I looked it up. I was like, no, it's the same dude. And I don't know what he's been doing those past 6-7 years or however long was between releases, but definitely been working on his performance. And I always thought the music and the guitar playing and all that was pretty measurable, but I think here they've really stepped it up, and kind of makes me look forward to what they're going to do next. But I think as far as outstanding vocal performance, I think it's more has to do with, in contrast to what they've been doing before and how it measures up to this. Just great, and I think it stands up with the other Doom releases of 2021. Very, very strong album. So that's my pick. Question number 4. Show a gap filler. This is kind of a weird one. Okay, so I have this. So this is Candlemass's 1998 album, Dactylus glamerata, which I think it's kind of grass or root. I'm not sure what that means. So anyway, to explain the gap filler, I need to give you a little quick backstory on why it is. So I have this, and here is the album in its what you call normal form. But I ran into this. So here is the CD with the abstract algebra material. Abstract Algebra 2, to be specific. There was an Abstract Algebra 1, which is its own entity. This right here was supposed to be the second Abstract Algebra album, but they decided to kind of combine it with the regular Candlemass material. So this includes the Abstract Algebra demo itself in its original recording, and some of the same tracks actually made it on the Dactylus glamerata album, re-recorded. So, just better fidelity and all that stuff. And is this essential to the discography? I don't know. I feel like if you're going to pretty much pick up all the Candlemass material, I feel like this is something that, I think most fans should probably just sort of have in their collection. If not this, the first Abstract Algebra album. Leaf Adeline pretty much, Candlemass broke up pretty much after the early 90s, and this project was how he wanted to kind of proceed, but the labels weren't feeling it, and he went a little more highbrow with the Abstract Algebra project. The Doom was still there, but it was a little more proggy, a little more of a thinking man's kind of thing, and I don't know, it just did not click with some people. So by the time they released this album, in its final form, it's just very different from the other Candlemass albums in the discography. Being that they brought on a new vocalist, Michael Amott was brought on board to play this, not known traditionally as a Doom kind of guitarist. So again, it's a little more rockier than your typical Candlemass material. I'm not sure if that's the right term, but that's kind of what the vibe that I get. But this is interesting in its own form. But on vinyl, I didn't get the abstract algebra raw recording material on there. So figured, throw it in a pile. Question 5. Show a cheap pickup from 2021. So this was pretty easy because it was very recent. So Hell's Headbangers had a, I'm going to go Doom again. I feel like I'm going Doom heavy on this one. It's not on purpose. So this is Argus. So this is a US Doom metal band. And this is their debut album. Look at that beautiful artwork. So anyway, they had it listed for $5 US. Yeah, for a gatefold double LP. So I pretty much blind bought this. I I'm figuring, you know, what can I have to lose? It's Doom, and, you know, click some of the check boxes, and you know, I figured, you know, I'm out $5, and, you know, I checked again, and, you know, sure enough, it's sold out now. But at the time, it wasn't, and obviously, but this shit's great, man. This is their first album. It's got Butch Balich from he sings in Pendants now, so I definitely get some Pendants in this. You know, if you like the Lord Weird slow fag, I get some of those vibes in here. Even just looking at that artwork, I kind of get that vibe. You know, a little bit of that Solitude Eternus. Just really good performance overall. I mean, I don't know why they were trying to get rid of this for $5, you know, but it wasn't moving. I guess many people just don't appreciate this band for some reason. But man, this was the best $5 purchase I made pretty much all last year. So there you go, Argus. Okay, question number 6. Your favorite artwork from a new release. So technically, I received this in 2022. Thank you, vinyl delays. But this album dropped in, I want to say late November, early December. And that'd be the latest Chemist. That is Deceiver. Yeah, I still have the shrink on it. Don't feel like taking it off yet. But you can probably see the fidelity of that artwork there. Pretty damn amazing. So Sam Turner does pretty much all the Chemist artwork. It's all just great. I love all the Chemist stuff. I mean, look at this. Very fantasy, kind of leaning on Doom. See, it's not all completely Doom. There's some heavy metal here too. Great band out of Colorado, and I find their music just as good as their artwork. You know, everything is phenomenal. So this version, so I got it in this, what are they calling it? Sea blue and olive green swirl. Very appropriate. And considering I just got this is already going for pretty stupid money. This Gogs at it. You know, I don't know. That's just how crazy vinyl is nowadays. But I just love this artwork. You can't go wrong with Chemist, man. These guys know what they're doing. Question number 7. A favorite track from 2021. And one song that I kept putting on repeat. So if it's not on my turntable, I'm listening to it in some form or another, or on Spotify in the car. And that'd be the latest from Monolord, Your Time to Shine. So, you know, Monolord are a Swedish sort of stonery, doomy kind of band. The early material is very droney and, you know, very kind of hypnotic. And the vocals were not like the most prominent thing. It was more of an echoing and whatnot. Here, there's like actual songs, you know, like I think this is their most accessible record. The track that I'm referring to is called, it's the very first track, The Weary. So again, it opens up very strong. It's a very addicting track. It's got the power, it's got the punch, it hooks you right in. And you know, when I just want something kind of like that, this is it. I think if you're gonna get somebody to Monolord, you're definitely gonna hook them in with The Weary, and then you go from there and then work your way back. I'd say it's probably the best way to go about their catalog. But you know, just agreed. I feel like not enough people have talked about this album last year for some reason. I think it came out around October, so maybe because it was a late year drop or whatever. But man, The Weary, it doesn't overstay its welcome. It gets you right away. It's got that bit of that sort of emotional center that it hits that are like in songs like this. So definitely check it out. Question number 8. Okay, so this one should be entertaining. A song that became an earworm. And it's a song that I already knew about, and I have not listened to Rat in quite a while now. I've kind of exhausted spinning them, so it took a bit of hiatus. But I returned to them in a weird kind of way. So I picked up this early 90s Poison album at a clearance bin called Native Tongue. And how does this lead to Rat, right? So, you know, you can't help but notice that glowing six-pack on Bret Michaels there. But these guys should have known better. There's a track here, so I'm going through it. I'm like, okay, anything here I'm familiar with? And this is their first one without CC DeVille. As a matter of fact, I think he was fired by this point. As a matter of fact, just an acknowledgement here to CC. Thanks for 8 years together. Here's to your health and happiness. I don't know how well he took that at the time. But anyway, there's a song here called Body Talk. They should have been well aware that there was a track already called Body Talk, put out by Rat at the time. So I checked out their version and thinking, okay, maybe it's a cover. It's not a cover. And the Rat version is still superior to this one. So I'm going to use this moment to just make fun of them. It's a bad album. It depends on your taste. And, I know some people feel very strongly against Poison. And I completely get it, and I don't blame you for this. But I thought this was very entertaining because it's very derivative. See, the song Body Talk, to me, was derivative of Rat, just from familiarity. And I thought, okay, maybe it ends there, right? No, sir. So, you got that Manowar-esque thing happening there. And you see it here in the glamour shots. So here, I love how every member had to have their own page, photographed in their own glowing kind of way. So again, if you missed that Bret Michaels six-pack, you get to see it again here inside. Look at that flowing hair on this guy over here. I mean, look at that. I mean, and all the glory. So, oh, you want to see more? Yeah, I got more. So here's Bobby Dahl doing his best Stevie Ray Vaughan impression. Hell, you could even say Richie Sambora while we're at it. Oh, you want me to keep going? Yeah, okay. So here's Ricky Rocket. There you go, doing his best. Blackie Lawless here. Yeah. So I don't know if they did any Wasp songs, named with one of their tracks. They didn't check. Okay, so here's Richie Cudson, and him and his guitar doing his best. Chris Cornell. I don't know. It's just, the whole thing just seemed too derivative to me. Yeah. So again, here's the whole band. Here's the whole. My God. I think by this time, this whole style look was very dated and very tired. By this point, but for what it is, looking back, maybe people may feel different about it. Even further down the line, but as of 2022, it's not something I will put on all the time. But I figured something from the bargain bin was still worth entertaining and picking up and just to check out for what it was. So the actual song doesn't earworm. Remember, it's the Rat version, Body Talk. Body Talk. I first heard that song when I was a kid, when that Golden Child movie came out. Because remember that scene when Eddie Murphy came in and he came there to chew gum and kick ass, and he was out of bubble gum. So he went in there and pretty much destroyed that biker gang in that one scene in that Body Talk video. Actually, matter of fact, I think the Rat video was actually playing on the television in that scene when he was in that sort of biker gang hideout or whatever. So, come on, you all know what I'm talking about. That was number 8. Okay, number 9. 2 albums destined to be culled from your collection. And one was fairly easy, and the other one I had to kind of think about for a little bit. And, okay, so I'm going to be that guy. Yeah, I know the Death to Metalhead. Maybe somebody else has shown their obligatory Dragon Force album. Why do we have this? I don't know. So this is their Sonic Firestorm album. I'm sure there's a lot of very hardcore Dragon Force fans, and if you like it, great. It's just that it just never clicked with me, man. I gave them a chance, and this is a band where I'm like, you know what, I'm good. I'm not gonna listen. I'm not gonna pretty much collect their discography. I think I'm good. So that is Dragon Force. The other one is I don't know. Like it's just I don't know if it's trying to be too spectacular for its own good in its own weird kind of way, and it's just it's a bit of a turnoff. And that's why it's just not doing it for me. The other one is a French band. It has to do more to do with the kind of genre that it is. It's just not something that I'm really much into nowadays. So this is I believe it's a 2016 album. I pretty much got this at a pretty good price. And this is a French band called Eths, E-T-H-S. The album's called Anka, A-N-K-A-A. The artwork on it is pretty rad. Now this skull with the missing eyes and stuff. So don't tell Jeff, but I got this as an idea for his Metal Madness 66 logo. Shh, just don't tell him. As far as the album, it's not bad for what it is. They fall in that metalcore. Hell, here I even have the hype sticker right here. For recommended if you like Arch Enemy, Suicide Silence in this moment, but they're just not bands I listen to. They just, Arch Enemy, the early material, but again, it's a band that I've never revisited. Suicide Silence, I've never been into. In this moment, another one. I'm not saying they're bad bands. I'm just not into it. Same here. However, this band is a little more interesting than some of the three I mentioned here. As far as what they do, so again, they're from France, so you know how it goes with the French. The interesting thing about this band is that it's got the female vocalist. Her name is Rachel Asp. I don't think she was the original female vocalist, but I think it ended with this. I don't think the band's together anymore. But what's interesting thing about her is you can find her on YouTube. So I'll leave a link to that video. And it's one of those what do you call it? One of those American Idol whatever competition shows. And she gets on there, and she looks like this nice, pretty, dolled up kind of girl, and and she does her out of nowhere death metal thing, and again, this is to a normie audience, and everybody's just kind of like taken aback and blown away, and some are actually find it hilarious, because for what it is. So again, 10 million YouTube views. So I don't know if that was a recruitment video for her to be able to get in this band, maybe. Be interesting to know, but there's that, and those are my two albums. Number 10, a band you have gone off. So I guess this means that a band you don't really visit anymore, or just don't plan on really spinning again, or for a long time. And there are a couple of them, but one that I definitely know I pretty much have given up on is that I've really enjoyed the early material. That is Sweden's Therion. And I think I pretty much stopped around this era. Volman's a great album. Crowning of Atlantis, even the early... see, that's the thing. They started as a death metal band, and then slowly they started adding a bunch of other elements. Nothing wrong with that. But I think the direction that they took was not in what I'm looking for in my kind of music. So by this point, they went from a death metal band, and in this period, it's a more what you call symphonic era. And it's very grandiose and all this, if that's your thing, great. But I think where I started to sort of fall off the trail with this band was when they went kind of more operatic with their stuff. Again, nothing wrong with that. If that's your thing, great. But operatic metal, I don't have much of a patience for. It's just, I don't know, man. I just wish, part of me wishes they, it's like those people wishing Opeth went back to metal, right? It's just, you hope, with every release that there's something will break down, but it's just not going to happen. That's the way it is with me with this band. It's a little wishful thinking, they're going to come back and be like, you know what? Forget all the operatic stuff, we're a fucking great death metal band again, and tomorrow we're going to start, and it's going to be awesome. And poof, when I wake up, I'm out of that dream, and I'm back to operatic metal. And sorry, Therion, but I'm done with you guys. I tried, and I tried those albums. And I just can't do it. Number 11, a '90s album recommendation. So I kind of went a little obscure with this one. So this is pretty much a one and done kind of release. And I remember back in the 90s when we first got satellite TV, there was a sort of a digital radio station. This was before all those other services took off. And I want to say the song Dust. I didn't know the name of it at the time. I remember it was very different. So this band's from New Orleans, Louisiana, and this is Stress Ball. And you can see the stress in the, well, I was going to say face, but faces in this. Really, really cool. It's something unique. So this is a recommendation because it's kind of a challenging listen if you're not ready for something like this. The vocals done by Stephen Gale, rest in peace. He sounds very anguished and pained. And I know that's kind of a thing that's thrown around a lot with extreme music. This is a different kind of animal. You'll know it when you hear it. So how do I describe just their sound overall? So this is I don't know, like take a little bit of the mechanicalness of as far as the production goes, because it's quite compressed. So take like Godflesh, maybe a little bit of Fear Factory, a little bit of that Dino kind of playing, maybe not as tight. So it's still kind of loose enough, you know, to kind of allow that little bit of sludgy element. So you know, take some of that I Hate God, you know, mixed with some of those other bands in a blender, and you kind of get this. So this was quite different. So Stress Ball. Also, the guitarist who passed away in 2020, Lennon LaViolette, also, you know, contributed. Rest in peace. But yeah, I think this is a nice little 90s gem, and I don't think it's been reissued much in the past. So find this on Discogs or somewhere. Definitely check it out. I'll leave a video there, which I think you'll find very, a link that you'll find very entertaining. Number 12. Show a 7-inch single or name a single that sold an album to you. And this one's in more recent memory, but it was a pretty profound for me. When their last album, All Shall Fall, back in 2009, they had us waiting for a long time because Albath and, you know, Demon As and, you know, have their kerfuffle and whatnot. So Immortal, as you probably guessed already by now, came out with Northern Chaos Gods in 2018. So they dropped the single to the title track, Northern Chaos Gods. So I hopped on board on Nuclear Blast and heard the single on, must have been YouTube. And, you know, I'm like, Immortal are back. We don't need a bath. This is the one that convinced me. I was really nervous, you know, when they announced this track about what the band was going to sound like or be like. And, you know, to be honest, my hopes weren't high at all. You know, I was, you know, with All Shall Fall, it's not the strongest one in discography for me. It's not one I really visit much, to be honest. This is why when this dropped and Without a Bath on there, I was just like, okay. But, man, it really, they came back and, you know, just full force, and it's just great. So I went ahead and picked up this single. It's pretty cool. They had that, you know, kind of etching in the back with, you know, with the logo and everything. So, you know, I just have one little rant, and that is Nuclear Blast. If you're going to sell these 7-inch singles, please, because this came inside of this, and it was fucking, it was just airtight. I could barely get the 7-inch out. You know, meanwhile you're damaging it trying to get it out. Don't do that with your 7 inches. So I have to keep them in these separate sleeves so I can get them in and out when I want to. So I played the hell out of this and love this. I love this to this day. Just the entire album is just great. So it wasn't one of those one track great and the rest is kind of disappointing kind of deal. So makes me really excited for another Immortal album. They're about due. So I don't know what's going on with the band, but come on, guys. If your next record's as great as this, I mean, you know, show those new players how it's done. But you know, this is the one that really, you know, it met my expectations, because I wasn't really expecting much from that band. So my expectations were, or my standards were up here. After that, the All Shall Fall was not really where I wanted it to be, if that makes any sense. Next question. Okay, question 13. Name an epic song of 8 minutes or more. I would have went with 10 minutes or more. Anywho, so this is a track in a, I guess we could say, atmospheric doom with blackened elements. So this is Vouna, Vouna, out of Olympia, Washington. So it's a one-woman project put up by Profound Lore. The album's called Atropos. So this is the, I believe, the second full length. Yeah. Just great. I talked about this in a previous video. So this is Yana Burkis. And so the song is called Vanish. It's actually one of my favorite tracks of last year. I just love it. It just carries you through all the way. It just puts you in that mood. So, everybody's been praising that, Wolves in the Throne Room album that came out last year. And the Weavers are great at what they do. Excellent mixing. I feel like this has a lot of the quality is there too with this. And Nathan Weaver handles the harsh vocals on that part of it, while Yana handles everything else, as far as I'm aware. But that Vanish song, clocking in at 15 minutes and 33 seconds. It's quite a ride and quite an experience. Definitely recommend checking that out. And just check out the band in general. But that track in general, Vanish, it's very epic, and just really good demonstration of what the overall album is like. So again, I just wish more people talked about this last year, and should not fly under the radar. Okay, question 14. A quick opinion on Record Store Day. I believe there's two, right? There's a Black Friday one, and then there's that, what you call the regular one. During COVID, I believe they ran them twice in the year. It used to be like one day during the year over the... It's been going on, for over a decade now? I'm not sure how long Record Store Day's been around. And not all regions participate in this. And it's meant for to benefit brick and mortar sellers and push more records. The thing is that I've seen wildly different answers on this metal tag, and I need to give you a little context. So I live in Philadelphia, as a lot of you already know, and we have quite a number of record stores and some participants. So for me to get to a record store is fairly easy. So participating in Record Store Day, not something I have to think about much. If it's something that I really wanted to do, I kind of would hit the record store on the weekends or whatever anyway. So record store kind of comes to me, I guess in some form. But as far as my opinion on it, if I was in a different situation, like if I had to take a 3-hour hike to get to a record store to pick up something for Record Store Day, I wouldn't do it. I don't see the value return on it, because I end up seeing a lot of that stuff on Discogs or some after seller anyway. But that said, there are some moments when releases where there are exclusives to Record Store Day that you can have only gotten that that was only pressed for that day, and once those copies run out, that's it. They're not printing more. And then you have what you call reissues, Record Store Day reissues. So they're not really albums that you can't get in some other forms. You can get them on Record Store Day, or just another pressing that's not a Record Store exclusive, Record Store Day exclusive. So this year, for 2021, it was, it benefited me because my favorite pickup was a record I thought I would never get, was this Cro-Mags Age of Quarrel, which was reissued, and I'm sure it's going to get scarce again. The band is not happy with this reissue because it was not pretty much authorized by them. So this got pushed to Record Store Day anyway. By the time, all that stuff was happening, it was already hitting the presses. The stores got their copy. They were going to make their money in one form or another. But you know what? This is not something where I can easily find another copy elsewhere. In my mind, it was get it now or almost never. I wasn't going to pay the prices for those old pressings, what they were asking for. So I got this at a more reasonable price, under $30. So I was really happy about that, and it sounds great. There's another one here, which is a one-time only pressing. So if you're a big Dave Grohl fan, was the DGs. So this is my non-metal showing. But this is something I got from Record Store Day. And as you guys know, Foo Fighters, did a whole Bee Gees inspired album, Hail Satin. There you go. This is one of those examples where it, pretty much sold out everywhere, and you want to get this on Discogs, be prepared to pay a pretty penny or pence for this, because you know, and I got this for $20 or something like that for that day. So it's something that I'm going to spin on all the time. No, it's pretty much a novelty, and I think the band themselves pretty much know this. Again, it's a passion effort, for them, showing their glowing love for the band Bee Gees. So that's my opinion on Record Store Day. It's not for everybody, but I'm a person of circumstance. I happen to be in a big city, and record stores are around everywhere. I participate, but if I was in some other circumstance where it wasn't available and I had to go out of my way, necessarily, it's not enticing enough for me, unless there was that one particular thing I really need to. But over the years, it's kind of been watering down for me. So there's that. So we're at number 15. What part of your music setup would you change? This question wasn't what you call micro-specific towards any one thing. I've heard different responses regarding your equipment or just a general room structure itself, and etc., etc. In my case, being where I live in this row home in Philly, I'm very limited on space. But I've kind of gotten used to having all my media in different areas of the house and different rooms, whether the basement, bedroom, and here at the dreadful den. So as you guys can see, I keep a lot of my vinyl here. My CDs, I do have some CDs here, here and there, but most of my what you call stored or archived CDs are in the other room. And it'd be nice to have everything in one place. That said, there is a very high likelihood I will be moving this year. So I'm hoping I can make that happen wherever this other place is, what you call the dreadful Den 2.0. And so I'll be very excited to unveil this to you guys when that time comes. And hopefully, do the new room tour and have all my CDs and vinyl in one location and not spread out sporadically through the house, simply because I can't shoehorn it, inside the same four walls, I guess you could say. So that's mainly my biggest concern. Is just convenience of access for my media, because if you've been watching my channel long enough, I don't discriminate. Tapes get love, CDs get love, and the vinyl gets love. There's that. Okay, 16. Biggest musical disappointment of 2021. I'm looking at people's answers on this, and it seems like overwhelmingly is the vinyl delays. And I'm there with you guys. We want to order our product and have it arrive, in a reasonable, ample amount of time. But we understand that, Adele ruined everything. But also, I feel bad for the small labels, who are getting hit when publishing with questions and answers for something they have no control over, because they're not the ones actually pressing the media themselves, All they do is sign these artists and sell the products, but they're not physically making the product, that happens elsewhere. And, so I wish, things improve with that this year, and it goes back to what you call normal in some form or another. And, I think a lot of us generally understand and are being very patient with this. But, it's been going on for quite a while. My issue is that, you got your pre-order, for example, and I would actually forget what I've pre-ordered, So sometimes it feels like a little bit like Christmas, because things arrive on your doorstep, and I'm like, oh, did I order that? I guess I did. It's like you've been waiting so long. But to give you a non-common answer to this question, along with everybody else, is David Ellison. It's, yeah. So I'm not going to go into the naughty details of why he's no longer with Megadeth, but it's just one of those things where, I hate to see an OG member, of a prominent band, just go out the way they do. I'm sure he'll have his whatever his next project's going to be, and try to save face again with everything else going on. But best of luck to him with everything else going on. But it's just, I wish it didn't go down the way it did, and he was involved in that the new material, and he's a great bass player, but naughty Dave. Okay, 17. Name an album you're expecting and looking forward to in 2022. There's quite a number of them. You know, new Malaysian. There's some reissues. Down the line, and but after looking through the other videos of Metal Tag yet again, again with everybody else and kind of naming a lot of the same albums, there's one omission I noticed that wasn't brought up quite a lot, and it's coming in a near right around the corner, and that is the Finnish funeral doom band Shape of Despair. Yeah, so I have it on pre-order. Can't wait for that to drop. I mean, I'm really curious how they're going to follow up Monotony Fields. That album, I think it's a 2010s masterpiece. And this one, Return to the Void, will be the first for them in the 2020s. So I'm looking really forward. Again, this is a band that it never disappointed me in general. All the material, they're like another gold standard for what they do. And I think that this is dropping in February 22nd is the official release date for this. And put up A Season of Mist. Can't wait, looking forward to it. It's just another one in the catalog. I have most of the material, and this is another one I'm looking forward to adding to the collection. I should be talking about them soon in another video, so look forward to that. And so that's my near-term pick. Coming down to the wire. I know this is a long one. Okay, so we'll try to speed this up. So number 18. Who would you like to see release a solo album? So, as you all know, I was involved in a Opeth deep dive with Jeff and company, Necrotic Nick and Surge, and it just I think that got me thinking just about the band in general and their future and direction. But this particular question kind of has me looking in hindsight. So, we talk a lot about Michael Arkerfeld, you know what I mean? But for a long time, his partner in crime has been Peter Lindgren. And, as you all know, Peter Lindgren started out as on bass and eventually, Opeth's other guitarist. He actually played in a heavy metal band in the 90s called Steel. Many people may not know that. But, the only band most people are familiar with him is his time in Opeth. And we know he's a phenomenal guitar player, and he's contributed on those classic albums everybody enjoys during those metal years. And, but we've never actually seen him release anything solo. I'm really curious what it would sound like without that Arkerfeld kind of tinge to it, without that Opethness, I guess you could say. I don't think he's active very much in music. I think he's doing some other non-related field, he got like a regular day job, as far as I know. Not sure why. I mean, I feel like this is the kind of guy who his name has the kind of pull where he can get signed, and he has the talent, put out something independently released or whatever. But Peter, goddamn man, like just put out something, man. We want to see what you sound without that Opeth, what you call a cloud over you. You know what I mean? And just let people see how versatile you can be with your playing skills. You know what I mean? Create a little super group or something. Just make sure it doesn't sound like Opeth. So that's my pick. Number 19. Show a placeholder album you would rebuy in better condition. In this case, the media itself, it's in good condition. It's just the way that I bought it. So I think that album name it's a bit ironic too. So I made a little boo-boo, and that is read the fine print, folks. So I got King Diamond's Fatal Portrait, and this is a pretty old pressing, but where's the cover, you say? Well, that's the issue. So I put a bid on this, and I won the bid. I was really excited. It's like, it was, I think it was around $5 or $6, and, again, I was pretty excited, but this is the only copy I have of vinyl. I have the CD, but I'm looking to replace this vinyl so I can get the cover. Unless somebody wants to sell me just the cover, a Fatal Portrait. This is a great piece of cover art, and I don't have it. So I was ready to dispute this. I got this in the mail, and I'm like, where the hell's the cover? You know, I just got the sleeve, right? I got the sleeve, and I'm like, so I look, you know, I'm ready to write my, you know, my rant, and I read the fine print. I'm like, you know, cover not included. Really, really, really tiny, tiny font. Even though the thumbnail had the picture of the album, but then, you know, I'm like, well, of course I have to list a picture so you know what you're buying, even though it doesn't represent the thing that you're actually buying. So, you know, so I ended up with the media. Hell, you know, I enjoyed the album and the record just fine, you know, but man, just a great painting, and you know, I could probably, and I'll probably just end up getting one of those reissues, you know, Metal Blade put out, and yeah, I'll be fine. You know, it's just this place fine, and you know, that's probably why I haven't been in a hurry, and that's one of those records that I know I'm gonna keep getting pressed forever, so I'm not in a huge hurry. And so there's that. So I don't have a cover, read the fine print before you bid. Make sure you're getting the whole package, especially if it's a beautiful piece of cover art like this one. So look at the replace or in addition to this. Number 20, we made it. Okay. Because of cost or availability, what album have you yet to pick up? Okay. So that would be the band. As for Delis, so this is their demo, Veil Between the Worlds, and they have a full length that they've released called Stygian Dreams. I love it to death, so right now I'm just resorting to digital. And why don't I have it, you say? It's because I still can't find a damn US seller. You know, I don't know. I know Hammerheart has been selling it, but again, no US sellers. I've looked and looked. I checked all the usual distros. I do not want to pay that extravagant shipping. That's what the holdup is. You know, well, Rick, it's an album you love. You know what I mean? Pay the damn shipping. You know, principle, damn it. You know, it's just, you know, I love it to death. You know, it's a little that California meets Rotting Christ. You know, it's just got a nice marriage of stuff with bands that I love out of Finland. You know, but you know, I've waited this long, you know, I might as well just, I think by the time it hits a US seller, it'll be ready under repress. I'll settle for that. If it comes down to that, that's what I'm going to do. I'll just get the repress. But that album, come on, it needs a US vendor. Please, do it for me. Look at his face. Well, this was grueling, but yet fun. So that was my 2022 metal tag. Hope you all enjoyed it. Those of you who are still awake by this point. So hopefully wasn't too much of a snooze fest. So I'll catch you all on the next one. Keep it dreadful. Should have another video up soon. Yeah, I need to kind of speed things up along. I've been kind of slow at uploading stuff. You know, unless that's annoying. I don't know. Later.